Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is NSG Chris. You know, I always got something to say, man, no matter about gaming. For our videos, just crazy things happen in the world, man. Today we got killer wife realizes police finds or found husband's dead body. So we got some true crime going, probably some plot twist in here. But before we get this started, man, I want to let y'all know one of my subscribers sent it to me, man. One of my people sent it to me, so it's something that y'all interested in, man. Let's get it going. Y'all comment down below if y'all know anything about the story. Or what y'all think the reason for this happening. Let's see.
Alright, here's the deal. You're being charged for murder. I never put my hands on it again.
This is 37-year-old Nicole Woodard. Just 48 hours ago, police discovered her husband, Daniel Rayburn, brutally beaten and deceased in the yard of his own home.
Neighbors said that they heard some subjects arguing and possibly one gunshot last night.
Okay, that makes sense.
First, detectives believed this tragedy was the result of a robbery, but they would be horribly wrong. As the weeks-long investigation began, detectives would uncover a toxic relationship and a twisted conspiracy with Nicole at the very center of it all.
Your DNA is going to be on that gun. Now's the time you need to tell me because there's not going to be another opportunity.
Hey, she cooked, bro.
On July 4th, officers in Dublin, Georgia received a disturbing call. A passing motorcyclist reported seeing a motionless body on the front lawn of a nearby house and urgently requested a welfare check. When
Like, imagine you riding a bike,
arrived at the scene,
or you riding your car and you
quickly
just see a
became
body on the side of the
clear
road, man.
the man
What's y'all first
was
reaction
already
is?
beyond saving.
Like,
How y'all doing?
The blood come across his arm right there. He's laying like somebody, he was attacked or shot or something.
As first responders took a closer look, the disturbing condition of the man's body became clear. His skin was covered in bruises, insects crawled across his face, and most troubling, a gunshot wound was clearly visible at the back of his head. Even more telling was the stiffness of his body, clearly indicating he'd been dead for several hours. To the officers on scene, one thing was immediately clear.
That's crazy,
This was
bro.
a homicide, and they needed to figure out who this man was and why he was so brutally killed. Luckily, it wouldn't take long before
Y'all rock
officers
with the jacket,
began
though?
uncovering crucial details.
I mean, let me know if y'all rock with the jacket in the comments,
Yeah, we
man.
ran it. That's as far as that.
Okay.
We haven't positively identified him.
26 radio. Off that 28 that was ran at this location, who would come back to?
26 that come back to a Daniel Rayburn. That one, it has Eagles Football Park address.
The victim was quickly identified as Daniel Rayburn, a 40-year-old father and the homeowner himself. With this in mind, officers would approach Daniel's neighbors, who would reveal information that would prove crucial to solving this case later on.
26 radio 09 is cleared.
I'm so sorry. Have y'all been home all day?
All day.
Been to the grocery store.
Have y'all heard anything over there?
No.
Like today? Oh,
Does he live by himself or do you know?
A lady lives there.
lady lives there.
There's a man deceased in her
They
yard.
got black neighbors,
Hey,
boy.
what?
Yeah, he's dead right there.
In her yard?
Oh, my
Is he black? Daughter said
she heard somebody arguing
last night.
Last night.
He said, who you calling? Call me another one. And she said, Mom, it wasn't firecrackers. She said it was a gun.
That's crazy.
You see his body?
Oh, talking about right here near the front.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This
So-
lady lives there with him.
I mean, she can't, that's the same
She
lady
asked
that
for some
came
portions. Her name is Nicole.
Nicole?
Yeah.
Is she younger, older? Or?
She's younger than us. So I'm 43,
Man,
so she might be in
what?
her early 30s. Early to mid 30s. Oh my God. Who found him?
Some passerbys just come by. He's been there for a while.
I got you on scene.
Neighbor across the road heard some arguments over here, and about 1 a.m. heard one shot. There's supposed to be a female that resides here by the name of Nicole, white female.
You know-
To see if she's inside.
Yes. We'll knock on the door and then see if it's unlocked, we can stick and we do a welfare check.
Officers didn't know who Nicole was yet, but she would become a very familiar figure over the coming days. Without wasting any time, officers moved to
What y'all
search
think got her
Daniel's
to
home,
kill, brother?
and what they would find inside would soon blow the case wide open. But before we
check.
continue, it's worth noting that situations like these can be extremely distressing, not only for those directly involved, but
Neighbors,
also for
everybody.
anyone following along at home, just like you. If you've ever felt that you need help with mental health, you should know that there are always people you can reach out to. That's why I'd like to thank BetterHelp, the sponsor of today's video. I've partnered with them to help provide you
buddy.
my stress level.
You're not giving
and
no free
subscriber.
promo.
Go through a lot of 30,000 and give what you want any day of the year with sanity and investigation. Officers were about to search therapy. With that said, let's get back to the investigation.
Nice try.
Officers were about to search Daniel's home, aware
just
there
sorry,
could be
y'all do
another
need help, y'all
victim
call.
or even
Call
someone
love when they
dangerous
reach out to
hiding
a hotline.
inside.
There's the door locked. Unlocked.
All units radio is 10-3.
Police department. Police department. Police department.
Something in the old house.
Alright, so female's gone. You got a female name?
All we know is it's a white female by the name of Nicole. Yes. Right here.
Right
Nicole
there.
Woodard.
Fortunately for officers, the house turned out to be empty, with no visible signs of violence or struggle inside. However, they did uncover one crucial clue, a letter revealing Nicole's full identity. Brenda Lee Nicole Woodard,
Why was she-
Daniel's wife. This discovery
Why you
immediately
leave that
opened up
right
new
there on
leads
it?
for
Like-
investigators, but officers were about to catch another clue. One of the paramedics on the scene would recall encountering a woman with the exact same name just hours earlier.
What y'all know about it?
I don't think the neighbors saying that they heard subjects arguing last night and a possible one gunshot.
Hey, see with here or
Yeah, they said it's supposed to be a white female staying with them. First name by Nicole. We went in and cleared it. Nobody ain't in there, but it's a letter in there with her name on a piece of paper with Nicole Wood on it.
that name? We just picked up a person at Applebee's with the same name, 37 years old.
Had seizures, throwing up.
According to the paramedic, 37-year-old Brenda Lee Nicole Woodard had been working at a nearby Applebee's when she suffered a seizure and was rushed to the ER earlier that day. To detectives, this timing felt a little too convenient. Nicole's medical emergency occurred just hours after Daniel's brutal murder, potentially giving her an alibi to distance herself from the crime. If this was, in fact, Nicole's plan, it wouldn't work out very well. Officers were now able to easily locate her at the hospital and question her regarding the actions leading up to Daniel's death.
That's
Since her injuries
crazy.
were minor, she was quickly transferred to the station for questioning.
Did he have any friends that came over to visit?
Once in a blue moon, we'd go over and hang out with Tim and Sylvia, but we hadn't seen them in a couple of months.
But other than that, you can't tell me anything else that you might know? I mean, because he was out in the yard, when he was found in the yard this afternoon. Before they
But
called
he been
you,
out
about
there.
time after they called you. He was found out in the yard.
Nobody
Sidewalk.
called me.
I mean, how did they get in contact with you?
The officer showed up at the hospital
Well,
while I was at the hospital.
I'm saying you got in contact with you at the hospital.
Oh,
Okay. So, other than that, you hadn't seen him none before that?
I hadn't seen him at all today.
Even though Nicole insisted she had
Wait,
no
if he
idea
her
what
husband,
happened to Daniel
how
that
you
night,
don't
her
see him for
demeanor
the whole
told the
day?
detective a different story. Her
He can't look
shaky
in his
voice
eyes.
and uneven answers indicated extreme nervousness. She seemed on edge, uncomfortable, and far from natural. These subtle cues could mean one of two things. Either Nicole was genuinely shocked to learn that Daniel was killed, or she was hiding something. This detective strongly suspected the latter and intended to find out exactly what Nicole was holding back.
And you don't know anybody that might have been, he's had problems with, or was giving him problems, anything like that? No, how was he on the job? I mean, he had problems on the job, anything like that? That you know of? I mean, we don't know if anybody actually done anything to him, or whether he might have just fell and passed out, or whatever. That's why I asked you how much did he
Man,
drink
why
last
y'all be
night?
killing y'all people, man?
Well, you said you drank a
Why?
bottle.
I was drinking.
Why
last
y'all be
night.
killing y'all people,
I was
man?
drinking beer, sir.
Why y'all be doing that?
Has he ever drunk alcohol to the point where he will fall out?
Yes, I told you. But he hadn't drank like that since. I mean, he might drink 2 or 3.
Well, if that's all, if that's it, then is there anything that you tell him?
According to Nicole, she and Daniel had been drinking the night
Nicole.
before when a verbal argument escalated into a physical altercation. However, she still insisted that he was alive and well when
Once
she
you get him a
left.
little bit.
Ultimately, detectives weren't able to get any useful information from Nicole
Once you get
and
him a
had
little bit,
no
bro.
choice but to let her go. However, unbeknownst to Nicole, this was only the beginning of a very long week. Back at the crime scene, officers continued collecting evidence to determine who had been at the home at around 1 a.m. Now, with a search warrant in hand, officers moved into Daniel's home, hoping it would hold the evidence they desperately needed.
So,
Go ahead and lock this door back.
they live separate?
No,
I thought they.
Danny, he said he's been counseling them. I guess they've been.
Oh, they've been having a problem with she said.
I'm mad confused.
Looks like she cleared her stuff out.
Yeah, that's why I ain't seen no female stuff in there.
They got listed as leggings.
None was in here.
Well, it's got listed as
But either way,
shorts and capris,
she said that.
leggings, comfort fits, pants.
Like I said, the place ain't tore, ain't no blood nowhere, except out there.
Unfortunately for officers, no evidence was found inside the home. With that in mind, officers expanded their search to the property outside, and that's when they made a critical discovery.
Hey, cool. Is that a piece of dread?
Yeah, sitting out earlier.
Get it back and put it in the bag.
A severed dreadlock was found just feet away from where Daniel was killed. The hair clearly didn't match Daniel or Nicole's hair type, confirming that someone else besides Nicole was present that night. Detectives now needed to identify who this unknown person was and figure out if Nicole might know who he is. But while detectives were finishing up their search at Daniel's home, his family arrived at the scene and officers had to break the tragic news.
Hello. How's it going? All right. Can I help y'all with something?
Yeah, this is my son.
Hey, Mr. Dan. How's it going? Going. Doing all right?
Yeah, I remember you, but I can't remember your name right now.
Matthew Allrell. We had pacifier see somebody laying down, and they called me out here, and that's when I seen him. Was he married or anything?
He was living with a woman.
What was that woman's name?
Nicole Water. What to call Poison Beach.
Although the
So the
family's
parents don't
comments
even
about
like him.
Nicole were somewhat vague, one thing became clear. Daniel and Nicole likely had a deeply troubled relationship, but suspicions alone weren't enough, and officers needed solid
Family don't
evidence
even
if
like
they
her.
were going to
That's
identify
crazy.
Daniel's killer. Before wrapping up for the day, investigators would review surveillance footage from the neighbors across the street and spotted Nicole leaving in her dad's car earlier that morning. Additionally, when police analyzed Nicole's phone records, they discovered that she had placed a call shortly before Daniel's murder. With suspicions now firmly centered on Nicole, investigators began questioning her acquaintances to find out what they knew about her troubled, deteriorating relationship with Daniel and potential involvement in his death. That's when they first heard the name Misty Edge, a friend of Nicole's who, as it turned out,
a wild
had
name
received
to
a
have.
visit from her just hours after the murder.
It's a wild name to have, bro.
Mine's just so hella back up. Mine is awesome.
I ain't never ran into nobody named Misty.
They ain't gonna buy it, are they?
No, they
Get
ain't
'em up.
lying.
Tell John and them to
All
come
right.
around. Hang on just a second. How are you?
I'm good.
This is
Look,
Misty
she-
Edge,
I look.
Nicole's friend and co-worker.
I
She
see
reached
look.
out to police, claiming Nicole had shown up at her house early the previous morning,
She like she
acting
look.
strangely and carrying several bags. When detectives arrived at Misty's
I know I
house,
said that like
they
80
never
times, but she
expected
looked
the
like she a
shocking
little, like-
details she was about to share.
She like she
Okay,
look.
well, she met
Hi.
with me the other night. It was a ring survey when I said that he had been beaten on and stuff. She called me around 5 o'clock that morning. She said she was very confused, that she didn't know what was going on, that front door was open, that his car was still crunk, everything. That
Front
she,
door was open.
yeah. and she felt she was still drunk. She fell asleep on the couch, and I really feel like she was coming off of something. You ain't just gonna sit here and make yourself shake for no reason.
Right.
I really feel like she was trying to hide something from me.
This description of Nicole's demeanor sounded eerily familiar to how she behaved in the interview room earlier. According to Misty, Nicole was visibly shaking, nervous, and clearly on edge, as
Bruh,
if she was hiding
that
something.
ain't for everybody,
Whatever
man.
Nicole had
That
seen
stuff not
or
for everybody.
knew clearly
You gotta
made her
have a
unstable,
good stomach,
possibly
a good
explaining her sudden seizure and
crazy
fainting earlier
mindset.
that day.
Like,
But what detectives quickly realized was that Misty
was
herself
already getting to
knew
it.
far more than she initially let on. And for reasons of her own, she decided to drop the biggest bombshell yet.
Let me ask you this. When did she tell you about Daniel?
She told me that she had made a phone call.
And what?
Get rid of Daniel. She also said she wants him dead, but then she don't want him dead. She walks in my front door and was like, Misty, hit me in my eye. I said, what? Hit me in my eye. I said, no, I'm not doing that. Because that's not me. I don't have nothing. I have no record. Like, I've been good my whole life. So no, that's not me. She said she needs an alibi.
Detectives now had a testimony supporting their suspicions that Nicole was at the house
Bro,
around the time
now
Daniel
she
was
cooked.
killed. Even worse, Nicole supposedly made some phone calls to, quote, take Daniel out. Not only had she likely witnessed the murder, but she may have even coordinated it. It
Bro,
was
she's
time
so
to
cooked,
find
bro.
Nicole. This
What y'all be
time,
saying? She chopped?
there would be no
Like-
walking away.
How are you?
The next day, investigators set up a meeting with Nicole at her sister's house, prepared to see just how much her story would hold up under pressure. The goal was to pressure her into revealing the names of the people she called that night and what exactly she had told them.
All right, here's the deal. You know why we're here?
Yes, ma'am. Then, unfortunately, what are we here about? Daniel and him not being here anymore. And y'all suspect because of the fact that me and him have been fussing and fighting and stuff so much lately that I may have had something to do with it. And
See,
I
but they
swear
not
I
gonna
don't.
tell. They not gonna tell you.
I told him at times, yeah, you're gonna keep on beat your ass or some shit like that. But I swear I've never put my hands on him. The furthest I've done is I've pushed him backwards. I've never put my hands on him, and I never would. He's the one that beat the crap out of me back in November. I was in Wings.
Although
Now you
detectives
saying that he
hadn't
beat
openly
you up.
accused Nicole of anything yet, she immediately
started
began
yapping.
defending herself.
Yeah, she started
almost as if she
yapping.
knew suspicion would inevitably fall on her. Her husband had just been brutally murdered, yet Nicole seemed less concerned with helping the investigation
Figure
and
out who
more
did it,
focused
of
on clearing her
protecting
name.
herself. Yeah,
Anything been physical
yeah.
since then?
No. I mean, we screamed and hollered at each other a little bit and sent some nasty messages back and forth. The thing with us, I mean, if we were not gurring at each other, there was something wrong.
As Nicole painted a harrowing picture of domestic abuse, her explanation seemed carefully chosen to cast Daniel in a negative light, almost as if she had hoped investigators would see her as the victim. And while parts of her story may indeed be true, detectives sensed that she was subtly deflecting blame and possibly laying the groundwork for a future legal defense. But investigators would see right through this tactic, and it only made them push harder to uncover what Nicole was really hiding.
Brady, how did he die? You just said, we fussing and fighting. I don't know. But you just said just a second ago, you know, while we're here, you think we have something to do with it. I've been told 3 different things. I've been told he may have had a heart attack in the yard. I've been told he was beat up. And I've been told that they don't know what the hell happened, just that he was found in the yard. Why do we know more? I don't.
Listen to me. Listen to me. It's always better. And I know you talked to detectives the other day. It's true that things have changed, and we know some stuff that you did. We need you to come forward and tell the truth.
I mean, I've called and talked to people and stuff, and I've told them at times, I love him, I hate him, get me out of here, stuff like that, but I've never hurt him. I swear, I would never put my hands on him.
Listen
I
to
love
me.
him.
Look at me.
Is she
Look at me.
crying because
Like Sergeant Rose just told you, we know more. We want to hear your side.
And I'm telling y'all, I didn't
I know
hurt him.
you would say.
she ain't lying?
I did not touch him. I did not go out. I did not.
You know who did. And it's time for you to tell.
And it's crazy because it's like for her to keep saying, I never did it, I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't do it. Okay, but you have somebody else to do it. Like,
Who did this to him?
The stress was clearly getting to Nicole. Detectives made it obvious they knew she wasn't telling them everything, and the pressure was starting to show. Visibly nervous and beginning to break, Nicole was about to give detectives exactly what they came here for.
I suspect that my foster brother may have had or adopted brother may have had something to do with it, because I did call them and I did ask them for help to get me out of there.
Why do you suspect that he had something to do with it?
Because they've all said before, if he kept on hurting me, they were going to do something. And the last time that we had
dang, so she gonna go out here and snitch?
And that was it.
Brandon, we know that you have made a phone call to somebody.
I called Pops, which is Hewlett Reed, and I asked him if he would come over and calm me down and stuff. And I called Andrew and Tom and told them to come over and find out
dang,
what
she's
was
saying
going
the whole
on.
field.
And Andrew and Tom said they couldn't get there anytime soon.
Why were you wanting them to come over there? What were you wanting them to take care of?
Not him, not like that. I swear, nothing like that.
That's what you just said.
I wanted them to calm him down.
What is that? Not like that. We know you said.
I didn't want them to hurt. No, I did not.
All right, so what?
I did not.
Listen, there was camera footage across the street, so let's talk about it, okay?
I never saw anything happen. I heard him out there fussing and stuff, and then they left.
Listen,
Man, they cooking.
know more about what happened.
I have my suspicions,
Okay.
but I don't want to.
Okay, look, right? So you got the neighbors. The neighbors said, the neighbors literally said, y'all, my daughter said she heard gunshots. She's coming out and saying, I heard them out there fighting and fussing, or however y'all want to say it. But there has to be something else you heard. That's probably why they're saying, how you fighting and fussing. You would hear a gunshot before you even hear, like, that's way louder than people talking. Like,
Accuse anybody of anything.
You know
Let's say
more
got a,
about what happened. Now, you give us the runaround
Let's impress on it.
already.
No.
but that still
And
makes
you
noise.
have.
Obviously not nearly as loud as a
And that points
gunshot,
fingers
but that
at
still
you.
makes noise.
That raises red flags with you.
Nicole would finally loosen up a bit, giving detectives a couple of names. But that alone wasn't enough. Detectives still needed to find out who actually pulled the trigger.
What did you see and what did you hear?
I heard shouting, and I've heard all the fireworks and all that shit. That is all I've heard.
What kind of shouting?
You called something and ordered something on that phone.
What did I order? Because I haven't ordered
Why do
anything.
you think the guys would have come over there and done something?
Because he was being an asshole to me
What did
again.
you
I mean,
tell?
I just told him, I said, y'all just get him to stop. Y'all, I can't take it anymore. Y'all can get me. Y'all just get me out of here.
So why not just...
Don't you want justice for him?
Yes, that's
This,
what I'm telling you.
He was
my
left
thing is, he
laying
would
in
have...
the yard.
This is what I'm telling you.
Why you ain't been leave then? That's my thing. Why you ain't been leave, bro? That's what's throwing me off.
I'm giving you the names that I have. Do I need a lawyer?
Despite Nicole bringing up her right to legal counsel, detectives weren't ready to give up yet and moved in closer, physically encircling her and increasing the pressure. And it's a good thing they did, because Nicole was seconds away from finally breaking down and confessing.
Oh,
I
man.
called them and told them to come beat his ass. I was fucking tired of the bullshit. But I didn't think that they would do it. They've never done it before. And then I was scared. And I didn't know that he was dead. I swear to God, I did not know that he was fucking dead. I did not. I thought that maybe they'd just
Knock him out.
Breathe.
Maybe they just rubbed him up a little bit and they'd come in a little while. That's why I fucking stayed in the house.
Well, if they knocked him out, you gotta go check on him after.
Yeah, your brother fucking beat my ass. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie, but I was scared. And they had already told me before that if they beat him up, they got told on I was in trouble. But like I said, they never did it before, and I've told them multiple times, y'all just gonna beat his ass. I'm fucking tired of it, and nobody ever did. The only thing that's ever happened was I had
the cop. Did you go out and check on him and make sure he was all right?
Cops don't do nothing either.
Did you see him out in the yard?
I did not.
You're almost there. You got about 10-15% that you're not telling us of what happened after the fact.
No, I don't.
You got 1 or 2 more.
I promise I don't. None that I know of.
Just sit there and think about it.
Even if parts of Nicole's story were true, her overwhelming emotional reaction seemed driven more by panic and fear than genuine sorrow. And by now, detectives had everything they needed to move forward, and Nicole would be arrested and taken to prison. While officers had enough evidence for an arrest and were nearly certain of Brandalee's involvement in the murder, whether she had actually wanted Daniel dead remained unclear. To solve this, detectives now turned their attention to Thomas Harper and Andrew Huber, the 2 men Nicole claimed carried out the attack. Fortunately, locating them didn't take long, and due to their high likelihood of involvement, both men would be arrested immediately and questioned the very next day.
Damn.
During their arrest, police discovered a piece of clothing with bloodstains at Andrew Huber's residence. After running a DNA test, this would prove to be Daniel's blood, confirming that Andrew was present that night, and he would be charged with murder. Still, there was one person left, and a final nail in the coffin for Nicole, her adopted brother, Thomas Harper. During his arrest, officers discovered a handgun along with 4 spent casings directly matching the bullet fired into Daniel's head. On top of that, the dreadlock found at the crime scene would turn out to be a direct match to Thomas himself. Neither Andrew nor Thomas ever claimed Nicole was outside during the fight. However, police could confirm that Nicole had seen Daniel leave and heard gunshots. Yet she never checked on him and never called 911. Instead, she simply walked away, choosing to protect Andrew and Thomas. This, paired with Misty's disturbing witness statement and the phone logs confirming the timeline, was more than enough evidence for police.
That's so crazy.
Nicole may not have pulled the trigger herself, but she set it all into motion. And because of her actions, Daniel was killed. In the end, justice caught up with all 3. Andrew Huber was convicted of felony murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Nicole and Thomas Harper both pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, likely receiving sentences ranging anywhere from 10 to 20 years in prison for their roles in Daniel's death.
Dang, bro. They all got cooked up. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this video down below. Was justice served? Did you feel like the reason she gave for him dying was a good enough reason? Would you have walked away? Would you have called the same as she did, not knowing the extent your family would go to? You know what I mean? Y'all let me know all that down below in the comments. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, man, so we get some more subscribers. Road to 100. Road to 100. We almost there, man. Appreciate y'all though. Make sure y'all never stop going, man.